What's good, people? This is the N.B.C Podcast with your boy S. McCann. I do have a special guest. My guest is Mike Z. What's good, Mike?
Everything, man. Thanks for having me back on here. It's always good.
Yes, sir. Let's get into this 2021 NFL Draft. You know how we get down. Yeah. Episode 17. Let's get it. So these pre-draft trades, bro. Miami, they was picking third overall. And this was from the Texans Laramie Tunsil trade. They traded the number 3 to the 49ers for the number 12 overall for a 2022 first round pick, a 2022 third round pick, and a 2023 first round pick. The Eagles then traded the number 6 pick to Miami for the number 12 overall for a 2021 pick, fourth round that is, 123rd, and a 2022 first round pick. Miami received a 2021 fifth round pick, number 156, and these trades basically involved only 3 teams, but you already know it threw off the draft order from number 4. So what you think about these trades, bro?
I'm surprised the Niners moved up that high. I thought they would ride it out another year with Jimmy G. We all know, I think the consensus is he's not like the greatest quarterback. They had a really good team that year. They went to the Super Bowl. But still surprised to see them jump up that high. Especially, you never see a trade that with that big a movement this far in advance of the draft. But they make the right pick. I think it was a good move for them. Dolphins got more picks, not that they really need any more. And then with the Eagles, I didn't see that one coming. I just remember I was sitting on the chair. I see the 49ers trade, then a half hour later, the Eagles and Dolphins. And that one took me by surprise, too, because I thought the Eagles would have stayed in there. All the fans want a receiver. They want Kyle Pitts or Devontae Smith. But I think in the end, I think that was the smart play for the Eagles. You give Jalen Hurts a shot. You give him a full year to see what he really can do. And while you're still picking high enough that you can get a good player to build around him, and you get that extra first and 3 potential first-round picks next year now, if the trade with the Colts works out right, and then at that point you either get your quarterback next year or you have Hurts and you continue to build around him for the future.
When I seen that, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what they trying to do. They just trying to rebuild. You have to rebuild, and to go back 6 picks, that's not that bad. You still in the first round, so you're gonna get a top tier talent at 12, and also you pick up that draft compensation for next year. It's no lose-lose. You get a first-round pick, bro.
Yeah, they have to rebuild.
First-round picks is a hit and miss anyway.
Yeah, and they're an older team. If you just look at the front 7 with Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, and their main guys, they're all getting up there. They're not young. They're in their early 30s now in football years. That's getting up there in age. I think, like you said, it's a smart play. You get these extra picks. You got multiple first-round picks in the following year. You're probably not going to win the Super Bowl this year. Rebuild. You got a first-year head coach. Give him some ammunition to build that roster up and make it into a team that can contend for multiple years.
Straight. That's what I'm talking about. You really have to look at it as, yeah, that 6th pick would have been nice, but you getting another first round pick just to move back six places, bro.
But now, like we talked about before, the key is going to be hitting on these draft picks. They haven't really hit. Because the only Pro Bowler since 2012, I believe, was Carson Wentz. So it doesn't matter how many picks you get if you don't hit.
I think Brandon Graham was a Pro Bowler last year.
He was okay.
Bowl, yeah.
He was drafted back in like 2010.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But but that's going to be the key is hitting on these picks. If they can hit on these picks, then they'll be in good shape.
Yeah, man. So the draft order, we just doing the top 10. We're not doing all the teams. We be here for 3 to 4 hours breaking down the draft with a mock draft of all the teams. So we just doing the top 10, and so the draft order right now, as it sits with the first pick the Jaguars are picking, and their projected pick is Trevor Lawrence.
I think it's safe to say that one's pretty much set in stone. We can stop saying that one's projected at this point.
That's it. We already know what that's going to be. The Jets, the projected pick, they got the second pick, and their projected pick is Zach Wilson, the quarterback out of BYU. And like Mike said, we already know that's set in stone. And so the third pick is the 49ers. And so the projected pick a week ago was Matt Jones. But now the projected pick just as of today is what, Mike?
Justin Fields.
Yeah, so now Justin Fields is back in, I guess, 49ers grace, if you want to say that they want to pick him now. We'll talk about that a little later in the pod about Justin Fields, but the projected pick a week ago was Mac Jones from Alabama, but now it's Justin Fields from Ohio State, quarterback. Number 4 is the Falcons, and we seen in the news that the Falcons might not even stay here. Basically, they're ready to trade this pick out, but if Atlanta stays, the Falcons, we see them, well, the projected pick is Trey Lance, the QB from the alma mater of Carson Wentz. The next pick is the Bengals at number 5, and their projected pick is Kyle Pitts. And then the next projected pick, what they were saying was going to be Jamar Chase, the receiver out of LSU. And Kyle Pitts is the tight end from Florida. And so Jamar Chase is I think is the pick for the QB because they played together. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. Like, before everybody was hot on Jamar Chase the last couple of weeks for Cincinnati, everybody had them taking Penny Sewell, the offensive tackle out of Oregon, which would make sense because Burrow obviously got hurt and their line wasn't the greatest. They signed an offensive lineman in free agency, but you still need offensive linemen. But now the rumors are saying that Burrow is pushing for Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
So I could, if he's on the board, I could definitely see that, which I think he will be there if the way the draft is going to fall with the quarterbacks. I think Chase would probably be the betting favorite to go to the Bengals there at number 5 right now. I'd say if it wasn't Chase, I would probably guess that it would be one of the offensive tackles. I don't know about Pitts right there. I would probably say Chase and then Sewell or Slater.
Yeah, me too. I think they should go tackle, but offensive tackle. But if your quarterback is saying who they want, you got to go with your quarterback.
But they already have decent receivers. Tyler Boyd is nice. They drafted T. Higgins last year, who had a really good rookie season.
If you get one more and you don't even got to pay him top dollar, you get one more. Now you setting your quarterback to succeed, bro.
But look what happened to Mahomes in the Super Bowl when their O-line fell apart. It didn't matter.
But you can get O-line, bro. You can get O-line in those bottom halves of the draft. You get the receiver, then you just draft O-line, 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th. Yo, just do that. You don't got to get an O-line there.
Yeah, but the receiver class is way deeper in this draft than the offensive tackles are.
If my QB
you could get one in the 2nd round if that's what you really need. But no, I agree. They put up great numbers together. Burrow had a historical college season with Jamar Chase. But I wouldn't disagree with you there. If they took Jamar Chase there, I think that would be either way, whether they went with Chase or Sewell, I think they would both be good picks.
Me too. So the next order of the draft, the next pick is Miami, and their projected pick is Jamar Chase as well to go with Tua out there in Miami. The 7th pick is the Lions, Detroit, and this projected pick is Justin Fields. If they can get Justin Fields at 7, the Lions are ecstatic, bro.
Oh, absolutely. I haven't heard too much on quarterback for them. Remember, they did
Yeah,
just trade for Goff and they got his big contract. It wouldn't surprise me to see them take a quarterback like Justin Fields if he fell. But
yeah,
a lot of like mock drafts and a lot of hype I see in the media would be that they would take like a Devontae Smith or receiver because they just lost Kenny Galladay to free agency.
yeah,
Or that could be another spot for them to trade down because there were rumors saying that they would trade down.
yeah.
And I
Out of the
think
pick.
if Justin Fields fell that far, then a team like a New England or even Denver could try and jump up to take him at this spot. But if they stay at 7, the hottest rumors are that they would might look at receiver, or even I've seen a couple mock drafts have them taking Micah Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State. He's pretty much a do-it-all linebacker. He can play in the middle. He can rush off the edge. I think he was
Yep.
like 240 pounds and ran a 4.3.
Uh,
Unreal athleticism, and he can do it all. So
Ain't their
they
coach
could go a couple different ways there.
the coach is from the Saints? Wasn't he the tight ends coach?
Yeah, I believe so. And he was like the assistant head coach or something like
Yeah.
that. He was the
So
one
say if
saying he was
Kyle
looking for
Pitts,
a bunch of guys to bust your kneecaps at his press conference.
yeah.
It was that guy.
So if Kyle Pitts dropped to 7, I see them taking him
Oh yeah,
just
especially if
because of
they're
the
in the market
coach.
for a receiver. I know
Yeah,
he's technically labeled a tight end, but you could look at him a tight end. We've talked about this outside of this all the time about how he's a tight end receiver. He can do Pitts can do it all. So
yeah,
obviously, of course, if I fully expect Kyle Pitts to be gone by 7, there's no way he's going to last till 7. But if he did, it would definitely make that pick more interesting for the Lions.
yeah. It should. So number 8 is the Panthers, and their projected pick is Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle from Northwestern. As you guys know or heard, they just got a quarterback, Sam Darnold from the Jets, and so they just picked him up. So this pick should be an offensive tackle to protect him. So number 9, the Broncos, their projected pick is Penny Sewell, offensive tackle from Oregon. And basically, the reason why the projected picks for these offensive linemen is coming because the top 4 picks are basically quarterbacks. And so it's pushing the draft down. Now, you getting good players being pushed to these teams. And so why wouldn't you take the top offensive linemen if they're getting pushed all the way to 8 or 9?
Yeah, absolutely. And the Broncos could be in the market for a quarterback as well because Drew Lock hasn't really set the world on fire and shown that he could be the guy. I could
Yeah,
definitely, like you said, if one of these tackles fall, or if, like we talked about, if you start to see Justin Fields slide down a little bit, the Broncos are mentioned as a team that could move up for him or even a Trey Lance if either one of them slide past 4. You see the Broncos moving up at the beginning. A lot of before free agency, you would see talk of the Broncos going for corner. But I don't see that anymore. They signed a
yeah,
couple guys in free agency, so I don't think they go that route.
yeah. I don't see them going no corner. Nah.
No, not
And
after
so the
before
last,
free agency, yeah. But then they signed a couple corners in free agency.
yeah,
The kid from that the Bears cut, Fuller, they signed him,
Fuller
and they signed one more as well. I can't think of
from Washington. What's his name? Washington. He used to be with us. Darby.
Yeah. They signed Darby too, so
Yeah,
they're not going to take a corner here. So yeah, I would say either one of the top tackles. The consensus at the beginning, at least among the media, was that Sewell was the top tackle, but now they're
yeah,
starting to say that Slater might have overtaken them. But either way, it's Slater and Sewell head and shoulders above the rest of the tackle class.
yeah. And so our last team that we're going to talk about, number 10, this was only the top 10, is the Cowboys, our rivals. And so their projected pick is what, Kewi Pay? That's his
Quiddy
name?
Pay,
Quiddy
Quiddy
Pay
Pay.
out of Michigan. He's an edge. And they need defense to me, but the rumblings were talking about them selecting an offensive player, which would be bad, and we're going to talk about that at the end of the pod. But yeah, this is their projected pick is defense, and that's the edge from Michigan. And
Or a
so,
lot of people have them taking Sertain out of Alabama, the corner,
yeah,
which would be
yeah,
a good pick
and
for
that
them as
would be
well.
a great pick for them because they need a corner and an edge. And so if they would get him, that would be great for them. And so the next half of this pod is basically me and Mike breaking down our teams. My team got the number 12th pick, and his Ravens got the number 27th pick. And so my needs of my Philadelphia Eagles, what we really need is a receiver, corner, linebacker, offensive tackle, DN, tight end. Look, we need everything, man. We trash. So whatever we can get, man. Like, yo.
That's what happens when you're in the rebuilding mode.
Yeah, we need everything. So our projected pick is Patrick Surtain, corner out of Alabama. And they also said that we're looking at Horn from South Carolina, corner. So either one of those corners, I'm good with. But if a tough wide receiver drops to 12, let's get him. You know what I'm saying?
And
if Kyle Pitts drops to 12, let's get him. But if they are going, we got to go corner.
Yeah, if Kyle Pitts somehow fell, I'd say you run that card up to the podium. I don't see that happening. I do see potentially maybe Waddle or Devontae Smith falling because, and I know everybody's talking about, their size isn't a big deal, which that's everybody's saying that. But if you look at history, receivers of their size do tend to fall in the draft. We can look at just, what was it, the last draft where CeeDee Lamb fell all the way to Dallas at, 16 or 17, and Henry Ruggs, the first receiver taken, wasn't taken till 11. So while I fully expect Jamar Chase to be taken with a top 5, top 6 pick, Waddle and Smith, I could easily see them falling because of teams concerned about their size being like 180, 185 pounds. So if one of those was there, this works out great because people, when the Eagles had the 6th pick, a lot of mock drafts had them projected to take one of them at 6. But if you can move down at 12 and still get one of them, that's great. But also, like you had mentioned, getting one of those top corners or Surtain if he's still there, or even Horn if he's there, they would both be great picks because, they being picked that high, you're going to have number 1 corner potential. But you guys already have a Darius Slay. So these guys are coming in and not necessarily guarding the opposing team's number 1 receiver. So you could set them up for success there, and you have a solid corner tandem, and that'll help out your pass rushers big time.
Yep. Yeah. If we pick a top corner in the draft, they going against the 2nd best receiver on the team, bro. And
absolutely. Or I could even see an edge rusher too.
Yeah. And so if they're there, you take it because now you setting up, like you said, the defensive line for success. You need to do that. But we already know, man, how we get fixated on somebody. Then he be like, oh, this is who we want. But, this is a no-brainer. If these corners are here, just pick them. That's it.
Oh, absolutely. Because like we talked about, the receiver class is deep. And I think you guys have multiple 2nd-round picks this year, if I'm correct. And you can get a receiver in the 2nd round. Yeah. Because obviously we know you need to give more weapons for Hurts to give him a chance for success. Like you said, if one of those corners is still there, then that's a home run pick, in my opinion, to help out that defense because they were getting cooked.
Yeah. And
especially with Dallas, when you got CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Amari Cooper, you play them twice a year. You need multiple corners to guard those guys. And even Washington with McLaurin, and then they signed Curtis Samuel in free agency. So even they got multiple receivers now.
Yeah, the corner that's the way to go. So you're right.
And the Giants just added Kenny Golladay. So that division, you're going to need multiple corners to be successful in that division this year.
Yeah. And so your Ravens, they're picking at number 27. And so the needs of your team is an edge, O-line, and receiver. And
they're correct. Those are
what you need.
those are the biggest needs. Free agency, we lost Yannick Ngakoue and Matthew Judon, our top two edge rushers. We're always in the market for a receiver. Yes, we signed Sammy Watkins. I like that move. But we still need to draft a receiver, I think, in the top 2 rounds. A lot of mock drafts, I've seen the most popular pick right now, and I believe Mel Kiper in all 4 of his mock drafts has us taking Terrace Marshall Jr. out of LSU. He's a bigger receiver. He's still got 4.4 speed. Looking at his numbers here, he's 6'3", 205. He ran a 4.4. In the shortened season, he had 10 touchdowns last year with the bad quarterback play. I think that could be because we needed a bigger receiver. You got Hollywood, who's fast and small. Sammy Watkins he's okay. He's not that big physical receiver that you necessarily need. So I think Marshall or even Rashad Bateman is another popular pick, and his measurements actually surprised some people. They thought he was going to be a little bit bigger. He ended up measuring in at 6 foot and 190 pounds, which is still would be an upgrade, and I think would be a good pick as well. Or edge rusher. It's hard because at that late in they're talking with this draft, this edge rusher class. There's no obvious like Chase Young top of the line guy. They're all pretty solid. So guys, I think that could be picked at the edge for us could be like Jalen Phillips out of Miami. His teammate Gregory Russell could fall. Joseph Osai, I've seen mock to them as well. So there could be multiple edge rushers, and then I think one of the
Penn State.
Yes, where's his name? Jason Owa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had some crazy numbers. I think he's 6'5", 250, and I think he ran like a 4.3 at his pro day. For me, I don't know how I feel about that because he had 0 sacks. And yes, I know you're drafting on projections. You're projecting them to be good, to be much better. But to me, I would still like to see some production. I'm not saying you got to have a 10, 12 sack season in college, but at least have some kind of production. And I haven't really watched him too much, so I don't know too much about him. That is another popular mock selection to us. And then our other biggest need would be on the offensive line. Our offensive line in that Buffalo playoff game got torn up. Center couldn't snap the ball. So we need interior. We need another guard, like a left. We had the plan would be if we took a guard, then our current left guard would then slide to center. Who Bozeman, he played center at Alabama in college and was good there. Or you could just draft a center and leave him at left guard, and I think that would be all right. And then another underrated need would be offensive tackle because the Orlando Brown Jr. situation where he wants to be traded to a team where he can play left tackle. So if you trade him, then obviously tackle becomes a need. And even if you don't, you're going to need somebody to replace him because after this year, he's going to leave via free agency anyway. Offensive tackle, right tackle is another underrated need for us as well. So I would be happy with the first round pick if they're picking any one of those, whether it's receiver, edge, or offensive line. I think those are the routes we need to go that would help our team the best and give Lamar that chance to continue his growth and hopefully get him a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you got to build around that QB. And if you don't build around your QB, man, it's going to be rough for you. And Justin Fields.
So if we get a big body receiver, I think that's going to help Lamar out tremendously in the passing game.
Yes. So Justin Fields, all the talk 2 weeks ago, a week ago, was him dropping in the draft. Me and Mike talked about it. We like, look, man, this dude is one of the top offensive talents that you have in this draft at quarterback. He's been highly rated since high school. The top 2 quarterback highly rated. And so even with his numbers at Ohio State, he's dropping. Come on, man. The dude got talent. You can't say he don't got an arm. He can't run. You saying that, he always stares down his first receiver. But if that first receiver open, I'm not looking at the other one. You know what I'm saying? So when people talk about, Mac Jones went through his progressions, how? when he had Waddle and he had the other dude was always open. He was the best receiver in college football.
Yeah, you have all these first-round picks at receiver, and then you got Najee Harris catching balls out of the backfield as well. Life is easy for you when you got that. And then even the year before, when you had he had so much talent, and obviously Justin Fields has the size, he's got the arm, he's got the speed.
He got everything.
And I think what doesn't get talked about with him enough is his toughness. And you can see in that playoff game against Clemson, he took that shot to the ribs, and you could see how much pain he was in. And he missed maybe, one play, if at all, and came back. And you could see how much pain he was in, and he's toughing it out. He's got that toughness. And with regards to not getting past his first read, you got to look at what he was asked to do in that system. We don't know what he was asked to do as outsiders. Yes. Was he only asked to look at that one read? Again, like you said, if that read's open, why would you look past it anyway? Because the number one read, that's the guy the play's designed to go to anyway.
If anybody talk about who made reads in college, everything wide open. What type of reads you making? Everybody wide open. You can't say that Mac Jones made all these reads. Dude was the number one receiver. He was wide open. He was cooking everybody. What read do you need to make? Like you said, he had the running back. He had receivers, tight ends, offensive line. What reads you making?
Especially with the way the game is playing with these quarterbacks now, you would think that you would lean towards Justin Fields because obviously Mac Jones is limited with his athletic ability.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd be stunned if – I know all the rumors are saying that the 49ers are taking Mac Jones. I'd still be stunned to see that happen.
Yeah, I'll be stunned too, bro. It's no way. And whoever gets this kid Fields, they're going to have a field day because one of those teams, they're just going to sit him because they already got a quarterback. They're just going to sit him. You can teach a quarterback to go through their progressions, bro. You can teach that. You've seen it with your man Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, he's gotten better over the years at it. Is he perfect? No. But he's good. You can see the improvement from year to year.
But that's what you have coaches for, to teach that, bro. You don't
remember, these are
go ahead.
21, 22-year-old kids. Yes. So it's not like you can mold them and make them into what you want them to be as long as as long as they got the football IQ and that talent and athleticism is there.
That coach, bro. It comes to the coach and the system. If you think that Mac Jones is good for your system, pick him at 3.
Yeah.
You better be good.
And then I was listening to another podcast earlier today with a guy that covers the NFL for a living, and they was talking about some of the concerns that he was hearing with Fields and that we don't hear about is that maybe that Ohio State system doesn't necessarily set you up for success at the pro level. And not that this would really – and then they also talked about the guy, the most recent quarterback at Ohio State being a massive bust. But granted, that was for different reasons. That was for immaturity-type reasons. And as far as I heard, I haven't heard Fields has those kind of concerns at all. So that shouldn't be held against them at all.
No.
But just these are some things that I've heard that might potentially – and again, who knows? This could all just be smoked by a team trying to get Fields to fall down to them so they can pick him. You never know with all these rumors and whatnot until it comes draft night and it actually happens.
Was Haskins rated the number 2 quarterback in high school? Number 1 and number 2? I never heard of the boy. I never heard of Haskins.
That was just a terrible draft class for quarterbacks overall. I mean, it was like him and Daniel Jones. That was not the year to need a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, him and Daniel Jones, man, they both was. Well, Daniel Jones ain't bad, but damn, coaching. That's what happened with Daniel Jones. Coaching. Somebody coached him up. His
same coach as Eli and Peyton from down in Duke, Cutcliffe.
Yeah. He had good coaching. That's why they picked him. And so these offensive tackles dropping in the draft. I wouldn't be mad if my team picked the offensive lineman, bro. I wouldn't be mad at that. If you can get a top offensive lineman at 12, oh my goodness.
Because you could plug him in at left tackle and you're good to go. Because Dillard's always been hurt, and the few times that he has played, for you guys. Has he really shown that he's the left tackle for the next 10 years? Not
Nope.
necessarily.
Getting cooked.
And so if you can get a Penny Sewell or a Rashawn Slater that fall to 12, now not only are you got your left tackle situation, now you're giving Hurts more confidence when he's back there knowing that he's going to be protected.
But see, what I'm looking at is, look, you can draft that pick. Then you can trade. Like, you can trade that pick.
I'm a strong believer in you build your team from the lines out. If you have a good offensive line, chances are your team's going to be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I feel like offensive line is more important than necessarily like the receiver position or a tight end position. Obviously, every position has its value. I think offensive linemen are more important.
And you can have a great offensive line, but you don't got no pass catches. You clean, and there ain't nobody getting open. Come on, man. You still need that pass catcher, bro. You need
absolutely. But to me, I don't know. I just think for me, the offensive line is more important because they affect the run game a lot more too. Because the receivers help out and block a little bit, but obviously it's going to come down to the offensive line.
Yeah, I get
so
what
if you get that starting left tackle you say you take a Sewell and he's your starter for the next 10 to 12 years, you don't have to worry about left tackle for the next 10 years and you're set. And you can focus on getting these pass catchers and these other positions to help out your quarterback.
True indeed. So to close out the pod, Dallas seems to be hot on the offensive player. Jerry Jones, man, you need to chill, man. You need to just give up this GM job.
He gets in his own way.
Yo, what's up with him? Like, what's up with him? Like, you hot on Kyle Pitts, so you need a tight end. It's only one ball, bro, for one. For two,
and they already got 3 good receivers, and Zeke wants the ball damn near every play as well.
Like, yo, come on, man. You can only pay certain players, bro. Like, you just not going to just focus on defense. That's what got you in trouble. All these years was your D. Your offense was nice. You couldn't stop nobody.
What's your word for their D?
Candy. Candy D.
They definitely had that Candy D.
Like, yo,
I mean,
man.
The only way I could see, if I was them, the only way I would go offense would be offensive line because their left tackle Tyron Smith had these neck injuries, and a lot of them got hurt. But I'm with you. I absolutely think they need to go defense. So, like we talked about these corners or maybe the edge rusher. I don't know. They definitely need to go defense 100%. Your offense, you don't need an offensive skill position at this point. Not right now. Unless you're getting, it's a late round pick and you're doing it for depth purposes in case of injuries. You need to start building that defense now.
But even, like we said, if these top tackles fall, or offensive linemen fall, they better get them. Because Travis Frederick, the center, he had a career-ending injury. Or whatever he had, it was career-ending, so he couldn't play football no more. So that really affected them last year. But if you can get an offensive lineman, you get it. Because what we always say, man, you don't have to pay these people. You can franchise them. You can have these kids for 5, 6, 7 years if you franchise them 3 times. So you can have these people wrapped up in the contract for so long where you can have them at that position for years.
And that to me, that's one of the most important parts of the team, as I've stated a few times there with the offensive line. And to go back to their defense, it's not like you need the number one defense, but you need a defense
that can make stops.
That can get the stop when you need at least a middle of the road defense, in my opinion. Their offense with a healthy Dak is going to put up points because there's not many teams that can just flat out stop Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and stop Zeke all at the same time. Dallas is going to put up some points with a healthy Dak. But you just need a team to get that stop or two when you need it the most, and your offense is going to score, you'd be all right. So if they upgrade the defense even a little bit, because we know, again, that division is going to be up for grabs. It was historically bad last year, and how much better is it going to be this year? Because the Eagles are in rebuilding mode. The Giants, they're They're not going to, I don't think they're going to be great. Washington is decent, but with their quarterback situation, you don't know how far they're going to go. You want to say Dallas should be the favorite because out of the 4 teams, they got the best quarterback situation. They got the best quarterback in the division.
They got the best quarterback. They got the best receivers. They got the best running back. I don't know about my boy. My boy, nice. Sanders is nice. I don't know. But
and don't forget Saquon Barkley's back too.
Saquon, yeah. But they got the best running back that's been in the league
consistent.
and been consistent.
And he does it year after year. He does.
Yes. Until he messed something up before the season. Then he got to sit 6 games or something doing stupid stuff. But, yeah, like we said, man, they got everything. I just think they don't got the right coach. That's just me.
I agree. And I think that goes to the overall culture starting with Jerry Jones. That I just don't feel like that team has the leadership. Yeah, I think Dak's a leader, but you need more than one leader on that team. Who else is out there on that? Like all these great teams that you see, they have great leadership on their team. And again, with you go back to the coach too. Yeah, McCarthy won a Super Bowl before, but last year, even before Dak got hurt, yeah, he was putting up numbers, but they were still a dumpster fire, like losing all these games. Like they had like 1 win. They were like 1-3. So I don't know. I just think that overall culture just seems off to me. They're not that America's team anymore. At least in my lifetime, they haven't been good. They haven't been good since before I remember, since I was a little kid. And I don't really remember that much because I was like 3 years old when they were good. Now, all I know is they haven't won a playoff game in they've won 1 playoff game in the last 25 years. If they want to continue being bad, that's not my team, so I'm not too mad at it. As long as my team's doing good, and that's all that matters.
Look, man, I want them to select an offensive player, man. Because that's just better.
And that pushes one of those corners down to the Eagles.
That's it. Go ahead. Select that offensive player, man.
Let's Surtain fall to the Eagles.
Man. But yeah, people, that's a wrap. Convo Vision, Nothing But Conversations podcast with my boy Mike. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Can't wait to be back on it.
Yes, sir. We coming with a part 2 after the draft, how our teams did. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. 1.